I have some delightfully cringeworthy video for you today. I almost fell off my chair. I cringed so hard when I saw this. Fox News did a segment. This was part of Fox and Friends, apparently. They brought on a conservative squad, and by that they mean a right-wing response to the squad of actual members of Congress, all of whom are members of the Democratic Party and of diverse backgrounds. Fox News's conservative squad is not of diverse backgrounds. It's four congressional candidates who are running to fight socialism, among other things, in the United States. They want to be the anti-squad, effectively. Now, you'll hear the hosts name the candidates, so I won't. This is maybe the dumbest thing I've heard on a few levels, which we're going to discuss shortly. At first, I was convinced this was a Saturday Night Live parody, but it's not. The women are all obviously white, presumably so-called Christians, and it is actually difficult to watch because this doesn't appear to be a parody. They actually seem to be serious here. Let's take a look.
Republican Alabama congressional candidate Jessica Taylor joins us now with the conservative squad. We have Minnesota congressional candidate Michelle Fischbach, South Carolina congressional candidate Nancy Mace, and Texas congressional candidate Beth Van Dyne. Thank you, ladies, for being with us. Jessica, congratulations. You actually did this.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for having us.
When you look at these ladies that want to form a conservative squad with you, what goes through your mind?
You know, I'm just honored that they want to join in this fight, and that's exactly what it is. You know, we are losing the younger generations of this country, and I'm so grateful that they're willing to join up and help in this cause.
Okay, Michelle, why did you want to be a part of the squad?
You know, this is about bringing the conservative message to the people of the United States so that people understand that we're looking at do-nothing Democrats. They are obsessing about impeachment and not really doing anything for the people of the United States anymore. You know, you take a look at Western Minnesota, the district that I live in, and they're ignoring USMCA. They've finally gotten around to it a year later. But the farmers out in Western Minnesota need USMCA, and they waited and waited. But they have plenty of time for impeachment and the sham that is. And they just continue to obsess about that and not do the things that the people of the United States really need.
These are the types of talking points that only work in the media equivalent of like a medical clean room, or maybe better said, a media safe space. We are losing the younger generation. Well, yeah, Republican policy has destroyed the earnings potential and savings potential of the younger generation. College costs have exploded. The students and the younger people are riddled with student debt. Wages are stagnant and they don't have health care. So yeah, you're going to lose young people as a result of that. The do-nothing Dems, they say. Well, Democrats don't control the Senate, and between Mitch McConnell and Donald Trump's veto power at the White House, they can do very, very little. Farmers are struggling, and we really need USMCA. Well, the farmers are struggling because of Donald Trump's trade policy. They don't mention that, of course. Every single one of these dumb talking points would be dismantled instantly in anything but a safe space. And they are being held up, these four women, as some kind of moral right-wing crusaders. And it gets even worse. Let's continue the video.
Nancy, why is this squad important to you?
Well, you know, if you look at my life, I got my start as a waitress at Waffle House. I became the first woman to graduate from the Citadel, the Military College of South Carolina, 20 years ago. Today, I'm a businesswoman and state lawmaker running for the United States Congress. And this is about our future. This is the American dream. And you see the Democrats, they've taken a sharp left turn under the influence of the socialist squad. And you look at us, and this is socialism versus American values of freedom and job creation. And we all understand up here today that people flourish under freedom. And 2020 next year is pivotal for our country. And, you know, we see so many women across the country right now, Republican women, who are picking up the mantle and want to serve. They say, enough is enough. My kids and my country are worth fighting for. And that's what this is about, essentially.
Beth, how about you?
Well, I look at right now, we really do have a Congress that's run by extremists. And it's dangerous for America because they're not doing anything. We haven't seen solutions for out-of-control healthcare costs.
This is not socialism versus anything. There are almost no socialists in the United States in prominent positions of power at the national level. The idea that the squad or the Democratic Party or Democrats or whoever are pushing socialism is ridiculous. This is a false debate. The country has not gone hard left. The country increasingly realizes that the things that they have in other capitalist countries like Norway and Finland, Denmark, Canada, Australia, Sweden, things like healthcare and education, we should also have. And as a rich country, we can also afford to have. That's not socialism. That's not far left. This reminds me of Trump's last State of the Union address. You might remember Trump yelled out at the last State of the Union. I think it was the last one, maybe the previous, but I'm pretty sure it was the last. He yelled out to much Republican applause in the crowd, "We will never be a socialist nation." There's no risk of that right now. To say ever, nobody knows what could happen in a long time, but who is trying to make this a socialist country? I get it. There are some socialists, okay. But actual socialists in positions of power are few and far between. They're not making policy. They are, when you talk about tuition-free college paid out of taxes, where people who get really rich from their businesses pay more, that's a capitalist thing that happens. In socialism, you wouldn't have those ultra-rich people except when the socialist state is a corrupt state, in which case you would, and that happens. But then they probably wouldn't be paying high taxes. Single-payer healthcare is a capitalist idea where the fruits of capitalism are used to make sure everyone has health care, regardless of whether they can personally afford it based on the job that they have. They are setting up this fake enemy of socialism when they are really fighting more progressive capitalists. That's really the majority of what the ideas are that they claim to be fighting as far left. It's total cringe, but the really scary thing about this, the thing that is depressing, is that in a lot of parts of the country, this stuff probably is appealing. I understand that as someone who lives in Massachusetts, I laugh when I see stuff like this, but because it seems almost like a parody. But there are parts of the country where folks like these could actually win, and we need to be activating and organizing against them because otherwise they will win. And even if it's a fake war against socialism that they think they're waging, they can still be successful as long as they prevent serious progressive reforms from actually taking place. So I know that we laugh it off in a lot of parts of the country and we joke, this is a Fox News echo chamber. These folks are never going to get elected. Nobody's going to fall for the false, the straw men that they are putting together. That's not true. In a lot of parts of the country, this stuff resonates. And sadly, even here in Massachusetts, in some of the more rural parts, you see a sympathy for this type of ideology. So we've got to fight every district. We've got to fight every race. We've got to fight all the way to and through the November of 2020 election if we want a shot at this, because they are tricking people. They are convincing people. And as scary as it is, as laughable as it is also in many ways, we've got to fight it at every opportunity.